morning. This story is again from A Necklace of Raindrops, and that was the name of yesterday's story. Today's story is a different one. It's called The Cat Sat on the Mat. A bit of an unusual title, maybe it makes me think a bit more like a spelling lesson, but The Cat Sat on the Mat. But it again is by Joan Aiken, and the illustrations which I shall show you as we go through are by Jan Pienkowski. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. Lots of cats do that, everybody knows, and nothing strange comes of it. But once a cat sat on a mat and something strange did come of it. This is how it all began. There once was a little girl called Emma Pippin. She had red rosy cheeks and brown hair, and she lived with her Aunt Lou. They were very, very poor, too poor to buy a house, so they lived in an old bus. The engine would not go, but it was a nice old bus, and they loved it. The outside of the bus was painted blue, the inside was painted white, and the windows had orange curtains. There was a stove which kept them warm, and the smoke went out of a chimney in the roof. Look at the picture and you'll see what the bus was like. Let me see if I can find the picture. There's a little picture of it. Back end of it there. You'll notice Jan Pienkowski's similar style, using the silhouetted shapes, the black shapes, but the bus is blue. It stood by a high white wall. Inside this wall were many lovely green apple trees, on which were growing many lovely red apples. The apple trees were owned by a proud grand man called Sir Laxton Superb. Every day Aunt Lou went through a door into the orchard to work for Sir Laxton Superb. Aunt Lou picked the apples which were sent away to shops. There were so many trees that when Aunt Lou had finished picking the last tree, the first one had apples growing on it again. But Aunt Lou could not take any lovely red apples for herself, not a single one. Sir Laxton Superb was a very mean man. He only let her take the apples that were going bad, and he only paid her a penny a day. As for Emma, she might not even go into the orchard. She longed to go in, for Aunt Lou had told her about the green trees and the red apples, but Sir Laxton Superb said children would eat his apples or spoil them, so Emma had to stay outside, looking at the high white wall. She had no toys to play with. She and Aunt Lou were too poor, so she worked hard all day keeping the bus nice and clean, and she cooked dinner ready for when Aunt Lou came home. What did she cook? Bad apples. She made bad apple sauce, bad apple cake, bad apple pie, even bad toffee apples. Emma was growing fast. Every day she grew taller. She grew so fast that she was growing too big for her dress, and Aunt Lou was too poor to buy her a new dress. Emma's dress was so small that she could hardly move. If we take your dress off to wash it, Aunt Lou said, we may not be able to get it back on you again. I shall wash you and your dress both together. So she put Emma in the bath, and she washed Emma and the dress and hung them both on the clothesline to dry. That wouldn't be very comfy. Then Aunt Lou went off for the day to pick apples. You may get down when you and your dress are dry, she said. As Emma was swinging in the wind, a poor old fairy came along. She walked slowly with a stick because she was old. When she saw Emma swinging on the clothesline, she started to laugh. She laughed and she laughed. She laughed so much she nearly fell over. Oh, she said when she could stop laughing, I've never seen anyone on a clothesline before. You can't think how funny you look. Emma said, my dress is too small, so Aunt Lou washes it on me in case I can't put it on again when I've taken it off. I'm almost dry now, so I can come down if you'll help me. The fairy helped Emma down. Would you like to come into our bus, Emma said, and have some bad apple cake? And just before we read on, there's a picture there of her hanging on the washing line with the fairy. What do you see? What do you think? What are you wondering? Thank you, said the fairy. I should like to very much, but I have never been in a bus. The fairy thought the bus was lovely, and she had 3 helpings of bad apple cake. She said it was very good. She told Emma, you've cheered me up, so I shall try to help you. I am too old and poor to give you a grand present, but I will give you 3 of my dresses. They're too small for me now, but they'll be just right for you. So the fairy gave Emma 3 dresses, one red, one blue, and one grey. and as well as the dresses, she said, "I will give you a kitten to play with." The kitten was called Sam, and he was black with green eyes. Emma loved him at once, because he was so small and soft and bouncy. Then the fairy said goodbye and walked slowly away with her stick. Aunt Lou was very pleased when she came home and saw the dresses. She cut up the red one and the blue one and made new dresses for Emma. They looked lovely. Aunt Lou left the grey dress because it was not a pretty colour. Emma had the red dress for weekdays and the blue dress for Sundays. As for Sam, he slept on Emma's bed every night. "After all," Emma said to Aunt Lou, "he is a fairy cat." "Fairy cat or no fairy cat," said Aunt Lou, "he has very muddy paws." Every night Sam left black footprints all over Emma's nice clean bed, on her sheets and on her blankets and on her pillow. So Emma made a grey mat from the fairy's grey dress and put it on her bed, and Sam jumped on it too. But on his way back he walked over the pillow and left black footmarks before sitting on the mat. "Oh dear, Sam," said Emma, "you should clean your feet on your mat. I wish you would." "What will Aunt Lou say when she comes home and sees those black marks?" When Emma said, "I wish you would," Sam stood up. He looked at Emma, then he wiped his feet on the mat. Emma was surprised. "Why," she said, "it must be a wishing mat. What else can I wish?" "I wish those black muddy marks were not on my pillow." That very minute, Emma's pillow was clean as clean. The black marks had gone. "Now," Emma said, "I wish I had a big meat pie and some ice cream for Aunt Lou's dinner when she comes home." Just as Emma said this, Sam got up, and as Emma said the word ice, Sam jumped off his mat. When Emma looked on the kitchen table, there was a big meat pie and a lump of ice. "I wished for ice cream, not ice," said Emma. "I wish the ice would turn into ice cream." But the ice did not turn into ice cream. "I know," Emma said. "The mat is only a wishing mat when Sam is sitting on it. Please, Sam, will you get back on your mat?" But Sam wanted to go out, and he jumped out the window. "I will wish for more things when Sam comes back," Emma said. But Aunt Lou came back before Sam. Aunt Lou was cross, because Sir Laxton Superb had told her he did not want her shabby old bus standing by his nice white wall. "You will have to move it to some other place," he said. So Aunt Lou was worried. Where could they move their bus? Who could they get to help them? They were too poor to pay anybody. Aunt Lou was tired and sad, so she did not listen to what Emma was telling her. "Aunt Lou, I've got a wishing mat," Emma said. "Yes, dear," Aunt Lou said, but she was not really listening. "It gives wishes," Emma said. "Yes, dear," Aunt Lou said, but she was not really listening. "It cleaned my bed, and it gave us this nice meat pie." "Yes, dear," but Aunt Lou did not really hear what Emma was saying. She ate some pie, but she was worrying so much about how to move the bus that she never even tasted it. She might just as well have been eating bad applesauce. Aunt Lou did not tell Emma that they had to move the bus. Grown-ups do not always tell their troubles to children, but sometimes it would be better if they did. What do you think, boys and girls? Sam didn't come home all night. He went into the woods and played Puss in the Corner with the squirrels. By the time he came home, Aunt Lou had gone off to pick apples. Do you notice when I realise I've gone wrong, it makes sense to go back and correct it rather than just to read on, because otherwise we don't understand what we're reading. Sam jumped up onto his mat. Emma had been waiting for this. "I wish I had a toy," she said. "A skipping rope, and some balloons, and a ball, and a pair of skates, and a box of—" Just then Sam jumped off his mat again. A big red ball had rolled across the floor and he wanted to chase it. All the things were there that Emma had wished for. The skipping rope, and the balloons, and the ball, and the skates. Emma had been going to wish for a box of paints, but Sam jumped off the mat before she had finished, so all she got was a big empty box. She put the skates in it. Emma had a very happy morning. She skipped and skipped and skipped. Then she skated and skated and skated. Then she played with the ball. Sam played with her. Then she played with the balloons. Sam did too. This was not good for the balloons. At last, Sam and Emma were both tired. Sam went to sleep on his mat. "I wish I had a paint box," said Emma. At once, there was a big, lovely paint box on the table in the bus. There were many colours in it: red, blue, green, yellow, orange, purple, all the colours you can think of. "Oh, what lovely paints," Emma said. I shall paint a fine picture. I should like to paint the best picture in the whole world. Emma looked for a bit of paper, but none of the bits of paper in the bus was big enough for the picture she wanted to paint. I know, she said. I'll paint a picture on the white wall. So she started painting a picture on Sir Laxton Superb's high white wall. Oh dear, what do you think is going to happen next? First, she painted all the parts she could reach. Then she climbed on a chair and painted all the high up part of the wall. What did Emma paint? She painted a picture of the orchard inside the wall, the green trees and the red apples. But as she'd never seen it, she painted the apples many other colours as well, pink and yellow and blue and gold and orange. Under the trees she painted foxes and squirrels and rabbits eating bread and jelly. Birds were flying through the air, playing with balloons. Dogs were skating, cats were skipping. It was a very fine picture, the finest in the whole world. And all the time Sam went on sleeping on his mat. He was tired out. Then Aunt Lou came through the door in the wall. Look, Aunt Lou, Emma called. Look at the lovely picture I've painted. But after Aunt Lou came Sir Laxton Superb, and there, just to remind you, there's the picture that she's painting on his white wall. You must move your bus away at the end of this week, Sir Laxton Superb was saying, and all this time Sam was sleeping on his mat. Aunt Lou looked very worried. When Emma said, "Look at my lovely picture," she said, "Yes, dear," without looking, but Sir Laxton Superb looked, and his face went red, redder than the reddest apple you ever saw. "What have you done to my lovely white wall?" he said. He looked so cross that Emma thought it might go off bang like a balloon. "I've painted the best picture in the whole world on it," she said. "Aren't you pleased?" But Sir Laxton Superb was not pleased. Not at all pleased. "You must rub it all off again," he said, "and you must leave at once, today, this minute." Aunt Lou began to cry. "But where can we go?" she said. "I don't care," Sir Laxton Superb said, and Sam was still sleeping on his mat. "I wish the wind would blow you and your shabby old bus up into the sky." And Sam was still asleep on his mat. That very minute a great wind blew Aunt Lou and Emma and the bus up into the air. Up they went, up and up, till they landed on a fat white cloud. All the things in the bus fell about, but nothing broke. And just think, Sam was still asleep on his mat. He was so tired after all those games. Look, there they are on top of the big white cloud. "Well," said Aunt Lou, "I thought of living in plenty of places, but I never thought of living up in the sky. What shall we find to eat up here?" "That's easy," Emma said, and she wished for a roast chicken and a big iced cake and a jug of milk and an orange jelly, for Sam was still asleep on the mat. After dinner they walked about on the cloud. It was soft, just like the hay in a hay barn, and they found lots of apples because the wind had blown all the apples off Sir Laxton Superb's trees. They were rolling about all over the sky. From that day, the trees in Sir Laxton Superb's orchard never had any more apples, and although he tried to rub Emma's picture off the wall, he couldn't. "If Sam's mat is a wishing mat," Aunt Lou said, "we could wish our bus to be moved to California or Canada or Canton or the Canary Islands." "Oh no," said Emma, "let's go on living up here." And so they did. If you look up some dark night, you may get a sight of the old bus shining away up there, and you're almost sure to see some of the apples. So that story was using a lot of imagination, wasn't it? I really liked the bit where they were thinking about, where was it? Let me find it. I'm not sure I can. Anyway, I was thinking about the bus being decorated like a home. If you were to make a home in somewhere different from your actual home, where would it be? What would you turn into a home? Maybe a treehouse? Maybe a den in the park? Maybe, I don't know, maybe under your bed? home. What would it be like? Imagine, think. What would you make your perfect home like? Maybe you would make a home in a bus, or a train, or somewhere else. Have a little think. You might like to draw some ideas as well. Or you could use Lego or any other building materials that you've got to design and make your own very unusual sort of home. There's something to do. The other thing you might want to do is to think about what you would wish for if you had a cat that would sit on a wishing mat. Excuse me. What would you wish for? Would it be for you? Would it be for your family? Would it be for some other people in our community? What would you wish for? You might like to make a list of that as well. Or you might like to just think. Or you might like to tell someone. Or you might like to draw it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that story. Tomorrow I think I might, let me see if I can find, look, I might read a story from Seasons of Splendour. Do you remember this from the beginning of the year? So it's one of our, well, we read a number of stories there that were written by Madhu Jaffrey, who is from and grew up in India. Remember when we did our topic all about India? So I'm going to read a story from that tomorrow. Okay, hope you have a good day.